Welcome to the Milk Bottle e-commerce show, brought to you by Milk Bottle Labs, one of the world's top-rated accredited Shopify e-commerce experts. Founder Keith Matthews interviews e-commerce professionals, app developers and entrepreneurs to share as much digital knowledge and e-commerce tips and tricks as possible. This podcast is kindly supported by our go-to e-commerce tools. Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for Shopify, BigCommerce, Trello and more. Let's just say it's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever get for your Shopify store and all your valuable data. Simply go to rewind.io/milk bottle to get your first month for free. We just love Klaviyo, our preferred automated email solution we use in every store build. No wonder it's trusted by over 65,000 ambitious growing brands worldwide. Find out more on klaviyo.com/milk bottle. Looking for easy accounting for e-commerce? Cinder can relieve you from manual data entry and automatically generate an accurate P&L report, balance sheet and inventory management for your business needs. A few clicks and you'll get access to the key metrics to find the hidden streams of income for your business. Use a coupon code EASYBOOKS for up to 40% off. Check out the show notes for further details.
Hi folks, welcome back. For episode 62, I am absolutely delighted to welcome Furniss Radley. Based in County Waterford on the southeast coast of Ireland, Susan conceived the original wrist pocket back in 2010. And after an epic backpacking adventure in South America, she finally got to launch her product. Susan retails her product on Shopify through Dust and Rock, and apparently, wrist pockets will put an end to ladies scrambling through handbags, keys or phones. Now, I don't own a handbag, but Susan is going to explain the solution to me very, very soon. Susan is a recent winner of Ireland's Young Entrepreneur competition, and Dust and Rock were recently selected as one of the 5 Irish businesses to win the Virgin Media €100,000 Backing Business Initiative. And as a winner, Susan received a Shopify store built by Milk Bottle Labs, and that is how we met. Susan, how are you?
Keith, I'm delighted to be here.
Great to finally meet you again. The last time we met was at the photo call.
Yes, we had loads of fun for the Milk Bottle Labs and Virgin Media collaboration with the other 4 winners, and it was great to meet everybody, but great to see you again, Keith.
Thank you. Nice to meet you again. I always say this, we've loads to talk about because it's very rare that I speak to somebody that has actually invented something. Okay?
Yes, and I have to say you described the wrist pocket really well, so thank you for that introduction.
Okay, so you can explain exactly what it is. What is a wrist pocket?
Okay, the wrist pocket is a bit like what they say, exactly what it says on the tin. It is a pocket for your wrist. So it's a purse. And if you can picture a clutch purse, which has 2 pockets, one for your mobile phone and the other for small bits and bobs, your keys, your cards, your cash. And the idea behind this purse is that it attaches to your wrist. So say goodbye to your handbag, because you're going to be hands-free now with the original wrist pocket. It's soft material, it's washable, it's durable, and I have to say, if I can say so myself, pretty fashionable.
Well, you just handed me some samples and they are very kind of Italian-esque. Like it's a fashion item, although it's clearly it's a practical item. But
yes.
It's a fashion. Would you regard it as a fashion accessory?
I would regard it as a very practical fashion accessory. When I designed it initially, I was using black fabric, and then the summer came and I thought, out with the black. Let's go a little crazy here. So I now have my own pattern designed, and I use loads of funky colours, an array from pink and red, clashy, to zebra print, and plain black. Everybody loves a plain black, right? You know, going out on a Saturday night, it matches with everything. But I would describe it as a little European.
Very good. And one of them that I saw had a Virgin Media logo on it.
I know, fancy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me 3 years ago I was going to design a purse and have a collaboration with Virgin Media, you know, I mean, that just would not have been a reality to me.
Yeah.
So a huge opportunity to collaborate with Virgin Media. And that's the future for me. You know, corporate branding on the original wrist pocket, it's just gone down so well here in Ireland over the last 2 years, you know, throughout its launch. And to be, you know, spotted by, you know, a company like Virgin Media, and Milk Bottle Labs. And, you know, to have this opportunity, you grab it and go, right?
Ah, that's great. Thanks for the explanation. So it's a wrist pocket, but where did the name come from? Dust and Rock.
Oh, Dust and Rock. And I don't explain this enough, right? So at the time I had designed the wrist pocket and I had no name. I didn't even have the name wrist pocket. And I was going to launch a website and start marketing, and I had no name for my business. And I don't know, I'm sure you remember Storm Ophelia here, Keith.
Yes.
And, well, I live in the countryside and we were without power at home for 5 days, and it was dark and clear after Storm Ophelia, and I was out. And not a very romantic story, but I was bringing in the bins from the gate with my 5-year-old, and we saw a shooting star, which is so rare, you know, to be out in the countryside because there's usually loads of lights around, but there was no electricity. And he said, "What's a shooting star made from?" And I said, "Dust and Rock." And that was it. I ran inside, I got the domain name in every country possible, and the rest is history.
That's a nice story.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to say, yes, I remember the exact moment I chose that name. And although it means a lot to me, often some people, I hear them say, "I have a Dust and Rock," as opposed to "I have an original wrist pocket." So it's interesting how people have grasped onto it, and there are 2 words now. Every time you see a star, think of Dust and Rock.
Dust and Rock. I will. I won't forget that one. You also mentioned when we were talking before we pressed record that you were away on holidays and you came up with the idea.
Yes. So I was working hard and I came to a point where I said, I'm going to take 2 months off work and travel, because I started my career very early in life. You know, I was 21. I missed out on that backpacking journey and the J1 and all the antics that go with it. So I had launched myself into kind of a grown-up life very quickly. So I said, I'm going to take 2 months off and go and live my best life. So I packed my bags and headed off to South America. And that's where the idea of the original wrist pocket was born. I was traveling around South America. There were safety issues, you know, around the countries I was in. And I had nowhere safe to store my phone, my camera. At the time, the camera wasn't on the phone. So I had my phone and I had my camera and my cash and my passport. And aside from putting them, you know, in a bum bag, you know, around your waist, I often left it back in my hostel, which meant I missed out on taking a lot of photos from these cool trips I was on, you know, whether I was ziplining or going to see Iguazu Falls. I felt I missed out, and I was with my now husband, and I lost my independence on that trip a lot, because I'd say, please mind my phone, you know, mind my cash, and then I would just hope I didn't get separated from him.
Yeah.
So I came back with this idea, and I went to my local dressmaker in Dungarvan in County Waterford here in Ireland, and I drew something on paper and I said, "Hey, will you make this for me, please?" And at the time, it actually wasn't designed to fit a mobile phone.
It was just a mock-up, was it?
It was a mock-up, and I was going to carry my cash and my card. And really, it wasn't about creating a product for the market or making money out of it. It was just for me. And that's where the initial design came from. And that must be 10 years ago now.
But most successful products solve a problem. And probably unknowingly, that's exactly what you did.
Correct. And it just seems like such a simple idea, okay? You're going to strap your purse to your wrist. I mean, it has to be out there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't anywhere. Unless I wanted a sports version that I was going to attach to my arm, I couldn't have anything funky, stylish, and that was fit for purpose. So
it took you a long time to, obviously you had a busy life in the meantime, and it's now 2022. You launched, was it 2019?
Correct. So at the time of this design, I had a big grown-up job, as I call it. I was a commercial pilot. I had kids. Life was...
Now just roll back there a second now. I want to talk to you about this pilot thing. That is just a fantastic career. Do you miss it?
Do I miss it? Okay. What do I miss from flying? I miss the physical flying part. I miss landing aircraft. I miss, hurtling down the runway. I miss the camaraderie. But I'm so invested in the original wrist pocket. My passion for my business now definitely outshines flying.
Yeah. So, you mentioned earlier on that there was some of your family, for example, were pilots. But I went to school with a guy, and again, before I pressed record, I mentioned Backweston Airport out in North Kildare, just on the Kildare-Dublin border, and I grew up quite close to both Baldonnel and Backweston. And you mentioned that you trained in Backweston.
Yes, that's a coincidence. I did my private pilot's license out in Weston, and I was very young. I was 20 years of age. I got the bug, and off I went then to the UK to do my commercial pilot's license.
So when you were in Backweston, did you do your, is it PPL? Is that the...
Yes, PPL, so your private pilot's license. It's about 200 hours in a light aircraft. Really, if you're thinking of going to be a commercial pilot, it's the best thing you can do, because the lifestyle mightn't suit you. You mightn't actually enjoy flying aircraft, it takes a certain personality.
So I remember when I was a kid, Darby Kennedy ran Backweston, and they had a yellow 4-seater Cessna. Did you train in that plane?
No, I didn't. I trained in a little aircraft called a Grob, a 2-seater.
2-seater?
Grob, even smaller again. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? So, for me, going from doing my PPL, and just one of those memories of my life was lining up on the runway in Dublin Airport for my first commercial...
So let's just roll back slightly. So you did your PPL. So did you do, like some people do, 4 or 5 hours a week, or did you do the 200 in a short stretch?
I blitzed it out over summer.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
No, I really blitzed it out. I mean, obviously it was all weather dependent in Ireland.
And then you went to the UK to go up to the next level. Is that right?
Yes, correct. So over in the UK, I did what's called your commercial pilot's license and your instrument rating, and I set up home in the UK for a year, really. And as part of that, you have what's called ATPL, Airline Transport Pilot's License exams. And that's actually probably the most difficult part of training to be a pilot, the aptitude part of that. So that was interesting for me, because I don't have a natural technical ability. So I really had to put my head down and... Yeah. So you say, do I miss it? I miss a bit like computer games. I love computer games.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s and I love computer games. So I miss like physically flying aircraft. Yeah.
But like when a plane goes over, do you look up and go, is that a Boeing or an Airbus?
I'm a terrible plane spotter. I'd hear air traffic control say, follow the Boeing 757. And I'm like, oh, God, what colour is it? What colour is that airplane? Tell me what colour it is and I'll follow it. Yeah. But I make a terrible plane spotter.
Okay. So you flew commercially for what, 10 years was it?
Yes, just over 10 years, based out of Dublin, Cork and Shannon Airport, with a little stint in Waterford, which is actually, Waterford has a very small runway here in Ireland. And it was definitely the most enjoyable part of my flying, real hands-on flying.
Perfect. Well done. I'm delighted. We had Lorraine Higgins in. Lorraine runs DBI, Digital Business Ireland, which ran the competition with Virgin Media. And Lorraine became a senator. And before that, she was a barrister very early in her 20s. It was a fantastically enjoyable interview.
Yes, and isn't she so modest? When you meet Lorraine, you say, wow, you're a solicitor and you're a barrister, a senator. It's pretty impressive.
But in my eyes, you just trumped her by just telling everybody that you were a commercial airline pilot.
Okay.
So fair play.
Did you hear that, Lorraine? I'm sorry. Well, to me, Lorraine is pretty impressive.
That's good. That's good. You're also a busy mum.
I sure am. Even if you told me 10 years ago I was going to be a mom, I don't think I'd have believed you. I had, ideas of my head of flying around Dubai or something. And here I am raising 3 boys, chickens and dogs, out in the country. So yeah, life is pretty busy for me.
So like most, I suppose, Shopify online entrepreneurs, because obviously you're using Shopify to run the business, you're trying to mix the standard things that you have to do every day and also expand an online business.
Yes.
So it's hard.
It is hard, but the beauty of having your Shopify website is I've got the boys in bed and I can sit down and work on my website, at any hour. So I'm not relying on another developer to make a Zoom call with them. I'm not tied to anything. If I have a free hour during the day, I can sit down and do it myself. And I love that freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. Susan, we'll just take a quick break just to listen to our sponsors. Rewind.io is the leading backup solution for your Shopify store. Did you know that there's no way of recovering lost data? If your store is gaining traction, app developers or multiple staff may enter your store, and there's absolutely no way of fixing human error. Rewind.io allows you to rewind your store back to its original state, so you can reduce your business risk immediately with the Rewind app. It's so easy and is the cheapest and best insurance policy you'll ever need for your Shopify store. Get your first month for free by simply replying to your first email from Rewind and mention this podcast. Now, regular listeners will know I love Klaviyo. It's the single biggest revenue generator I've ever seen across hundreds and hundreds of Shopify stores I've been in. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the big brands you admire, but they make it simple, they make it easy, and they make it fast. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/milkbottle. That's klaviyo.com/milkbottle. So, Susan, I'm always intrigued, number one, by how people found Shopify, right? So obviously you won the competition and we built the store, and you're now using Shopify. So you're probably 9 months into your Shopify journey. So in terms of the experience, you mentioned there that, for example, you don't have to constantly get developers in. I mean, there's the mobile app, an order comes in, your phone goes ching ching, which is great.
Love that sound.
Yeah, I like it too. So if you look back, over the last 9 months, what has your experience with Shopify been like?
So what I love over the last 9 months is my trust in the platform. Before moving to Shopify, I had various problems with the platform I was using, and I had major trust issues. If I had orders come in at the weekend, I wasn't sure were they matching up correctly with the names I was sending out? And I had major trust issues. Over the last 9 months with Shopify, I've really switched off. I don't have to check it so much. It's seamless. And anything that's drag and drop, I love.
Yeah. Do you often make changes to the site? Like, are you constantly adding new products, or is that only a few times a year?
No, I'm not. But I tell you what I do. I might sit down on a Friday and say, oh my gosh, it's Valentine's Day coming up. I better run a promotion. Yeah. That takes me 5 minutes to do. I don't have to call anybody. I don't have to pay anybody. I can do it 10 o'clock at night while I'm sitting watching Netflix, and it's done.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I just love how seamless it is. And the other thing about this platform is everything is just so intuitive. So I'm pretty busy. I don't have time to be researching, Googling, contacting, the creators for help. It's really intuitive. At most of everything I can do myself.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Shopify is the platform, and then you're using Klaviyo for email, isn't that right?
Yes, I use Klaviyo. And again, like I just said, Keith, I love anything that's drag and drop.
Yeah.
So I did a promotion recently there, and I thought, I'm going to have to figure out this Klaviyo. It took me 10 minutes to send out a newsletter because what I have set up on my Shopify site is, you get 10% off if you sign up for my newsletter. So now I have people signing up that I can send out, news, new products, new designs, new promotions. Here's a discount code. And what I love is it's just not time consuming.
It's just easy.
Easy.
If you're to list your favorite app that you have in the store, what would it be?
Okay, so the two apps I most use, Klaviyo, I suppose, is number one with the newsletter, but I use Judge Me. I had Judge Me installed, and I love Judge Me. Yeah. So basically with Judge Me, people can leave reviews on your site, and you can see that they're verified reviews. So if you've bought on my site, you'll get a verified tick code if you leave a review. And what that does is it instills trust in customers who are coming to my site. And because my product is so new, they mightn't even realize I'm based here in Ireland. If they might have heard of my product before. It just instills trust in people to say, hey, yeah, I see this person. They've bought an original wrist pocket, and this is what they have to say about it.
Perfect. Now, Susan, you're selling online, right? So, you're managing your own e-commerce business, right? But there's two things that I want to talk to you about. One of them is trade, like corporate customers, and we get to that. But one of the biggest challenges that e-commerce business owners have had in the last while is sourcing product, okay? And sourcing ingredients for product. So you're designing something, and it is very clearly a fashion accessory. So you're in the fashion business, really, But have you had difficulties or challenges getting raw material, getting production? Have you been in any way affected by the last 12 months?
So that's interesting. I have read so many stories about people, being affected by this. I mean, you go into the shops and you see it on the shelves.
Yeah.
I have not been affected, not actually one way. The biggest challenge I've had is the shipping costs. The shipping costs from Asia have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
I source all my materials from Asia. I go to trade fairs. I mean, that was my biggest challenge when I left flying. Number one, I knew nothing about business. I mean, gross, net profit, what's the difference? I must have done 20 crash courses.
Yeah.
So not only did I not know anything about business or any of the lingo, I knew nothing about fabrics, zips, elastics.
You would be quite amazed at the amount of people that say the same thing. And I think sometimes if you did know, you'd probably never do it. You're actually at an advantage by not knowing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because you're starting off fresh and, you have no idea of what's to come. And sometimes knowing a little bit about a lot of things is really healthy. And for me, the things I don't enjoy, my bookkeeping, my accounts, I hand them over to somebody and just say, look, I'm not good at this. I don't enjoy it. So there are times you've got to bring people in who are going to know much more than you. And then my passion is design. My passion is sourcing. My passion is selling this product to people to say, this is a game changer. And
well, we just sat down for a coffee before the interview, and I think I nearly bought 20 off you. So you're a very good salesperson. Only joking.
I know. It's a bit like Dragon's Den. You see people who have this product that they really believe in and say, you're ridiculous.
No, but you believe in it.
I do.
But to go back to the original question, that was the reason I asked you. You said that you weren't affected. And it's interesting because the amount of people that have not in any way been affected by COVID, price rises in terms of containers going up by 20 or 30% if you're buying in high volume has been a big issue. But despite the myth out there that every single e-commerce business in the country has challenges, in the world, in actual fact, we do have a lot of customers where the only thing that happened was it actually boosted their sales because of demand.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what happened to me. I remember our first lockdown here in Ireland, those first 2 weeks were pretty scary. I mean, my website just really went dead and I thought, oh my gosh, is this the future? And then bam, Saturday morning woke up and it was like this calmness came over everybody and people started spending. And that was the start of the boom for me, for e-commerce. So I couldn't say I've really been affected.
Yeah, that's good. Good that you weren't. The first thing that I thought of, actually, I didn't think of it, you did, because you triggered it in my head, because the day you arrived to the photo shoot for the Backing Business Awards, I think you had a mock-up of Virgin branded on one of your
yes.
I'm not dreaming there. I did see
yes,
that.
You saw that, yeah.
And you showed me some samples of other products with corporate branding. So we work with a number of businesses that make, authentic. Your product is authentic. Mm-hmm. It's original and it's an Irish product. And we work with a number of companies that are in a different vertical, but in principle, the very, very same history and very same kind of genuine kind of, backstory. And the corporate sector and the trade sector has really been it's been a massive, massive input into their business. So do you see your product branded across the world? Is that your vision?
Well, that's the dream. I remember being in the States a few years ago before the pandemic, and I was down on Santa Monica Beach, and I looked down the beach at, there was a yoga festival on. I said, this is my dream. I'm going to come back here one day, and I'm going to look down at these people, and they're all going to have the original wrist pocket on their wrist, because I looked down at them and I could see that was going to solve a problem. But I wouldn't be a great strategist, I must admit that.
That was a strategy that you had in your head. It doesn't have to be on a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, and I can be definitely winging it. Even through my aviation career, definitely through business, I'm totally winging it. But when I did the collaboration there with Virgin Media, and
Can I interrupt? This is your interview, not mine. I don't want to talk too much. Can I just say that everybody wings it?
Everybody wings it.
Continue.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, right? But I had the Virgin Media branding on the wrist pocket. I thought, yeah, this is definitely something I could do. So I didn't sit down one day and say, this is what it happened organically. And a lot of my business is happening that way. And because it's a new product, it just has created this interest where people are just tired of seeing the same old thing. So for corporate, it's saying, hey, offer your clients something different here.
Yeah, but come on, let's just give yourself some credit here. People are coming back and buying and referring it to other people because it's a quality product and it's a great idea.
Yes. And I have to say, I do pride myself in the quality. I've put a lot of work into quality because my name goes with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I am a Lone Ranger. This is my business. And if I'm going to put my name to something, it's got to be good.
Earlier on, we discussed the showcase in Dublin in the RDS. So it's the first time, I think, in 3 years, is it?
Yes, that it's gone in person, right?
Yeah.
I think the last couple of years, they might have done something online.
Virtual event. So I suppose for our listeners, Showcase is the single biggest trade event where retailers and wholesale businesses, I suppose, they meet face to face. Traditionally, within the craft sector in Ireland, this was the event where the big orders were made. Myself and Peter have been going to Showcase, I'd say, for maybe 10 or 12 years. I remember going to Showcase to get some ideas even before I started Milk Bottle Labs, which was, I'd say, 2011 or 2012. For you to go there and go to Showcase and invest the time, to basically hope that you will meet buyers is a pretty big deal. It's a big step for you, isn't it?
Yes. And again, it was never part of my strategy. My plan was always to hide behind my computer at home and sell through my platform. Never have to, meet people. But now I just have this fire in my belly and I cannot wait to get to Showcase. And that's probably come around after being stuck at home maybe for the last year. And, I mentioned earlier about camaraderie. I miss that side of things. I probably didn't realize I was such a people person, So I can't wait to get out, meet buyers, have the opportunity to get the original Wrist Pocket into physical stores and online stores outside of my own platform.
Perfect. Well, there's one wonderful aspect to the Showcase. Traditionally, it was a place where businesses from all over the country, it was the only place that they would meet. And I think Showcase is going for about 25 years.
I think you're right, yeah.
So, you go once, you meet people, you meet them next year. There is a wonderful, wonderful air of support and friendliness around everybody that's exhibiting there. So the best of luck with that.
Thank you very much.
So, Susan, one of the wonderful things about Shopify is that you can sell pretty much to any country in the world. You just obviously set the location up in your settings, you post the product and away it goes. And Shopify recently launched Shopify Markets, which makes it easier for Shopify store owners to set that location up, okay? And it's available, depending on when you set up your store, depending on what location you're in, it's available on the Shopify platform. Do you have any plans to expand in 2022? Because your product seems to me like it would fly in certain locations.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to use that word strategy again, that thing I never use. But basically my plan at the moment is to launch into Spain in the springtime. So I'm going to apply that same strategy I used here in Ireland, using Instagram, using social media. And I've hired a PR company over there, which is really exciting.
Well done.
Thank you. So I'm looking at the moment at fulfillment centres. So it does get a little trickier, obviously. I'm not going to be shipping out of my own warehouse due to the cost of shipping. So I am researching fulfillment centres such as Shipboard, which I know integrate nicely with the Shopify store.
So just explain how Shipboard works, because the pandemic made it actually very difficult for small e-commerce owners, because I heard through a good few people that some fulfillment centres got so busy that they actually started to reduce their clients and remove their smaller, less busy clients from their customer book. And actually, there's quite a lot of e-commerce owners ended up having to fulfill themselves. So how does Shipboard work?
Oh, well, that's why Shipboard was so appealing to me, where you don't have that steady flow of parcels going out, depending on your PR drops. So the great thing about Shipboard that I can see, you can rent a shelf, you can rent a pallet, or you can rent a bin. So it just seems a really affordable startup option for getting into another country, whether it's the States or Europe. So I'm going to give that a go. So watch this space.
Great. That's fantastic. Again, I suppose at risk of repeating myself, isn't it quite amazing that you can sit in Waterford and target an international market with ease? Isn't it just fantastic?
I know. And isn't that so exciting? We were talking earlier and I said, the great thing about owning your own business is you never know what tomorrow is going to bring.
Yeah. Susan, I have to say, I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for your time. You've invented a great product.
Thank you.
And you have a wonderful, wonderful backstory. And look, the best of luck in the future, and we'll keep an eye out.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. All of our episodes are available on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. A special note of appreciation goes to our sponsors, Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for Shopify and BigCommerce store owners. Get your first month free by responding to your welcome email once you sign up for your free trial on Rewind.io. Cinder is worth considering for your e-commerce accounting and reporting needs. Use a coupon code EasyBooks for up to 40% off. Klaviyo, which helps e-commerce brands easily create personalized, multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customer data. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/milkbottle. That's KLAVIYO.com/milkbottle. If you're a Shopify user with an exciting story to tell, reach out to the team on podcast@milkbottlelabs.com. Until next time, take care.